So, you want to be a Dark Lord? Hi, my name's Grace, and over the next 11 minutes, I'm going to go over the basics of Dracula and share some tips and tricks to help you be the best Lord of Darkness you can be. I have almost 1,000 hours on Dracula and have been faithfully maining him ever since I fell in love with him during his PTB. I am currently in the top 50 players on Steam for Hellfire hits, and I'm constantly testing and experimenting with this killer to help myself and others play him to his absolute peak potential. Small fun fact, the official name of Dracula's power is Vampiric Shift, something that is not referenced anywhere else in his kit. Without further ado, let's get started. The best way to begin explaining Dracula is to start with his main ability, Shapeshift. Shapeshift is a power that allows you to change between Dracula's vampire, wolf, and bat forms. It has a cooldown of 3.5 seconds that starts the second you activate the ability and takes approximately 1.3 seconds to regain full control of your character. When you shapeshift to either vampire or wolf form from bat form, you are also slowed to 2.6 meters a second for the duration of the transformation. This slowdown does not apply when transforming from either wolf or vampire form. The power is activated by holding your secondary power input, and from there you can change forms by pressing buttons based on the current form you are in. From vampire form, you use your attack binding to transform into wolf form, and your use power binding to transform into bat form. From wolf form, you use your attack binding to transform into vampire form, and your use power binding to transform into bat form. From bat form, you use your attack binding to transform into vampire form, and use power to transform into wolf form. Here is a simple graph showing the inputs on PC, assuming you're using the base key bindings to help you get an idea of how it works. Something to note, no matter where you are on the map, when you transform, there is an audio cue based on the form you are taking. A laugh for vampire form, a howl for wolf form, and a bat screech for bat form. Another thing to note with this is that the transformation sound is directional at a certain range. Now that we've covered the base power, let's go a little more in depth on each separate form, starting with Dracula's vampire form. Dracula in his vampire form is classified as a tall killer with a 32-meter terror radius and moves at 4.6 meters a second. They have a normal M1 with a normal lunge range, as well as their power, Hellfire. Hellfire is a short-range special attack ability that summons a row of 7 pillars of flame that can damage any survivor that comes into contact with it. It has a charge speed of 0.9 seconds, which can be manually cancelled at any time. While you are charging it, you move at 3.86 meters a second, and after you manually cancel your charge, you remain at 3.86 meters a second for 1.3 seconds. After you fully cast Hellfire, you move at 2 meters a second for 1.6 seconds. If you either cast or cancel Hellfire, you cannot make any actions until the slowdown ends. Hellfire has a cooldown of 10 seconds that starts as soon as you fully cast Hellfire, and as with the other two forms' powers, it recharges while in any form. Each Hellfire pillar covers 1.14 meters of range, totaling in 8 meters. It takes 0.4 seconds from the activation to spawn the final pillar fully, causing Hellfire to effectively travel at 20 meters a second. The direction Hellfire travels is set at the start of the casting animation, like Punishment of the Damned from Pyramid Head, rather than at the end of the animation, like with a Hunter's Hatchet. It can hit multiple survivors at once, making it very difficult to body block against for survivors. Hellfire also has the ability to travel through small gaps, as well as over many obstacles. A good rule of thumb is that if it is taller than a male survivor standing straight up, it is too tall to Hellfire over. It has a small audio cue as well as a visual cue when you are holding it, as well as when you cast it. Hellfire is mainly used as an anti-loop ability, with it being able to hit over most obstacles, including through pallets as well as windows. This causes Dracula to be able to heavily punish locked animations, making it incredibly unsafe for survivors to use windows or drop/vault pallets while in chase, as it makes them incredibly easier to hit. Another very powerful use for Hellfire is at unhooks. Due to its ability to hit multiple survivors at once, you can use Hellfire as an unhook begins and cast it to hit both the unhooker and the unhooked, causing you to either injure or down the unhooker and put the unhooked into deep wounds, allowing you to tunnel them out very effectively. Now that we've covered his base form, let's move on to his other damage dealing form, Wolf. Wolf form moves at 4.6 meters a second with a 32-meter terror radius. One of its most notable features is it having a third-person camera, allowing it to thrive in mind games more effectively compared to most killers, as it has the ability to see around corners or at angles that other killers simply don't have the ability to see from. A small downside wolf form has is that it moves significantly slower when walking backwards, moving at only 2.5 meters a second. This leads to a bit of a learning curve with wolf form, as you have to learn to mind game by strafing rather than moonwalking, as strafing also benefits from the third-person camera compared to first-person. It also receives 2 seconds of killer instinct whenever a survivor performs a rust action anywhere on the map, even if the action was silenced by a survivor perk. On top of that, it also sees pools of blood brighter than normal, as well as having scratch marks be less spaced out. It is also insanely quiet, making almost no footstep noises whatsoever. It has 2 main features, those being Centaurs and Pounce its power. Exclusive to Wolfform are their Centaurs. When a survivor is sprinting, every 5 seconds they will spawn a Centaur at their location. The orbs have their auras revealed to you when you are within 12 meters of one, and are not able to be seen by the survivor. They are also able to be seen from anywhere on the map and spawn even if you are not in wolf form. However, wolf form is the only form that can see them, pick them up, and benefit from them. Each centaur lasts 10 seconds before fading away, and upon collecting an orb, you receive 2.5 seconds of 4.35% haste, bringing your movement speed up to 4.8 meters a second. Additionally, if wolf form's power, Pounce, is on cooldown, it will refund 4 seconds of your cooldown. You have a small audio cue that plays when you collect an orb, sounding like a small sniffle. An important thing to note is that even outside of the haste and cooldown, centaurs provide passive info to you. It can show you if a survivor is nearby, as well as if there are multiple people nearby, as if there are multiple centaurs that you can see, that means there are probably multiple people close. This can also help you in chase, as it can show you how a survivor is pathing around tiles, and can help you win 50-50s by giving you info you otherwise would not have. Pounce is Wolfform's main power. It has a charge time of 0.85 seconds, after which you lunge forward 6 meters, then after a 0.5 second delay, in which you move at 7.28 meters a second, you will perform another lunge of 6 meters, and then you enter short fatigue. Either 2.25 seconds if you miss or bump into a wall or other obstacle, or 2.7 seconds if you hit a survivor or a breakable surface. If you land a hit on your first pounce, the second pounce will be cancelled. Pounce has a cooldown of 20 seconds, but that can be reduced by picking up Centaurs, which each grant 4 seconds of your cooldown back. Pounce is an exceptional dash ability that pairs really well with your Centaurs, as the haste from them greatly benefits the mid-pounce delay speed, bringing you up to around 7.5 meters a second if you pounce while under the effects of the haste. Pounce also has an audio cue when you are charging it, being a low growl, as well as appearing to crouch slightly visually. This visual cue can be hard to see sometimes. Finally, let's go over the last of his forms, Bat form. Bat form moves at 6.5 meters a second and is undetectable. However, it has a directional lullaby that can be heard from 48 meters. It also cannot see survivors and has no collision with them. It also has the ability to fly over pallets and windows. You can interact with the environment, but cannot attack out of bat form. Bat form also cannot see auras of survivors, but can see pop-up bubbles such as from Spies in the Shadows, or screen-based perks like Ultimate Weapon. Survivors can vault any vault location you are flying over, and you have no collision for a brief second after shapeshifting out of bat form, which can cause some very interesting 50-50 scenarios if the survivor doesn't react quickly enough. It also has the ability to use teleport to quickly get around the map. Teleport is Bat's primary ability and gives you the ability to teleport to any vault location within 32 meters. While you are teleporting, you move at 12 meters a second, and survivors can see your teleport path as well as being able to see the spot you are teleporting to if they have line of sight on your teleport target. Now that we've gotten through the basics of Dracula, I wanted to give 3 tips for each form as well as 1 tip for Dracula in general. Starting off, in general, pick one form to get really good with. For a while, use only vampire form or only wolf form, and then slowly integrate in the other two forms into your playstyle. Doing this will give you a solid base to start with, rather than trying to master all three at the same time. For vampire, take your time with Hellfire. As you face better players, they will try to bait out your Hellfire as you get heavily punished for missing with it. Take your time and anticipate dodges. It can be a little frustrating, but with time and practice, you can consistently be landing hits with it. For wolf form, learn to use the third-person camera effectively. The amount of added information you get from being able to use the third-person camera is immensely useful and will carry you a long way. For bat form, learn to recognize when people are doubling back. Like with spirit, it can sometimes be hard to learn when someone you were chasing down with bat form is doubling back, and learning to tell what that sounds like can be very helpful in the long run. I hope this video has helped you get a better idea of how to play Dracula. If you want to get some more in-depth insight on Dracula, you can watch my Dracula add-on and perk tier lists when I post them to get a better idea of how to be the best Dark Lord you can be. If you have any further questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.